Om Gajananam Bhuta Ganati Sevitam Kapita Jambu Balasara Pakshitam Umasutam Shoka Vinasha Karanam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sadashivasamarambam Sankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Maddanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Shri Matre Namaha, Om Shri Annadhaya Namaha, Om Shri Vasudhaya Namaha, Om Shri Sachamara Ramavani Sabya Dakshina Sevitaya Namaha, Om Shri Kataksha Kinkari Bhuta Kamala Koti Sevitaya Namaha, Om Shri Shivasaktyai Rupinye Namaha, Om Shri Lalitambikaya Namaha, Om Shri Sri Sri Shantananta Avadhuta Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om Parashakti, Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om. Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om Parashakti, Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om. Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om Parashakti, Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om. Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om Parashakti, Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om. Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva. Namaskarams to all. Welcome to session number 9 in the Sanatana Dharma Lalitha Sahasranamam series under the Vande Vidya Shankaram program of SVBF North. In our last session number 8, we had completed up to slokam 93 and up to 441 namas. We also talked about a few things related to Sanatana Dharma, the significance of Makar Sankranti, Panchangam, and the ancient wisdom of our ancestors in astronomy. So as we go along, I will touch on some of these topics on Sanatana Dharma, which are very closely related to our culture and tradition. We covered last session 69 namas of Divine Mother, who is always a source of inspiration and motivation for all of us. In today's session, we will start from slokam 94, as usual, after the Dhyana slokam. So let me switch on the screen for you. I'll share the screen. Here we are. You can recite the Dhyana slokam along with me. Sindhurarna Vigraham Trinayanam Manikya Maudi Spurate Taranayaka Shekaram Spitamukhi Mapina Vakshoruham Panibhyam Malipurna Ratna Sasakam Saktotvalam Vipratim Saumyam Ratnagadas Tarakta Charanam Jayet Paramambikam Arunam Karuna Tarankidakshim Desapashankusha Pushpa Bhana Chapam Animadi Viravritam Mayukaihi Ragamatte Vivavaye Bhavanim Jayet Padmasanastam Vikasita Vadanam Padmapatraya Dakshim He Babam Pita Vastram Karakali Talasatyema Padvam Varangim Sarvalankara Yuktam Satanamavedam Bhaktanamram Bhavanim Sri Vidyam Shantamurtim Sakala Suranutam Sabya Sampat Pradatrim Sa Kunkuma Vilepana Malikuchumbi Kasturikam Samanta Hasitechanam Sasarachapa Pasha Ankusham Asesha Janamohinim Arunamalya Bhusham Baram Japa kusma basuram, japa vito smaret ambikam. So that is the completion of our Dhyana slogam. Now let's go on to the first slide, where we start with slokam 94. As usual, I'll recite the slokam and then give you the meanings and my commentary. Kumara Gananadamba Tushti Pushtit Matir Britihi Shanti Swasti Mati Kantir Nandini Vignanashini. Once again, Kumara Gananadamba Tushti Pushtir Matir Britihi Shanti Swasti Mati Kantir Nandini Vignanashini. Kumara Gananadamba means mother of Kumara and Gananatha. You can see the picture on the side where Ambal is holding both Ganesha and Kumara. How happy to have two wonderful children, isn't it? All world famous, universally famous. Mothers are always happy when the children are bright and then they are achieving fame. So Ambal is mother of both Kumara and Ganesha. In India, Sri Adi Shankara established 6 paths of worship. 6 was called Shanbadal Stavakam, Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Shaktism, Shauram, Ganapatyam, and Kaumaram. Out of these 6, Kaumaram is derived from Kumara, which refers to the worship of Kumara or Muruga, as called by many in Tamil Nadu and South India. The strange thing about Kumara is what I'm going to tell you today. Our gods generally do not have a previous birth, like our human beings, they don't have previous janma or previous birth. But not many people know that Kumara or Skanda had a previous birth or a past janma. I want to share this very interesting story about Kumara's previous birth. This story is from a scripture called Tripura Ragasyam. Tripura Ragasyam, it is described actually in the 37th chapter of Mahatmya Kanda of Tripura Ragasya. Now, this scripture is considered as one of the greatest works by even Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi of Tiruvannamalai. It is a scripture which has expounded the Advaita philosophy in a great deal. It is said that Lord Vishnu himself incarnated on the earth as Dattatreya, the Lord of the Avadutas. In fact, my Guru comes from that lineage of Avadutas and taught this Ragasya to Parashurama. And later this work was written by Haritayana. It's also called as Haritayana Samhita. It contains 12,000 slokas in 3 sections. The Mahatmya Kanda, which is talking about the greatness of Devi, Jnana Kanda, which is on wisdom, and Charya Kanda, which is section on conduct. So that is the greatness of this scripture, and this story, what I'm going to tell you, is taken from that. It's also narrated by Kanchi Mahapariva in one of the lectures. Now it starts actually from Brahma. Brahma conceived 4 sons from his mind, Manasika Putras as they are called. Their names are Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat, and Sanatana. All come Sana, Sana, Sana. They are all called Brahma's Manasika Putras. They were all great jnanis, great scholars who chose to remain celibate. And Sanat Kumar was known as Brahmajnani, one who has attained the knowledge of Brahman. One day he had a strange dream, He dreamt there was a war between Devas and Asuras, and he himself fought in the war as the Deva Senapati, the chief of Deva's army, and killed the Asuras. And when he woke up, he felt, surprised. He said, how can I have a dream like this? I am a jnani. I am not for any violence at all. And he did not know the meaning of his dream. So he went to his father Brahma and asked him what this dream meant. Brahma also, he thought over and he said, well, I am not able to see the meaning of it, but whatever it is, you are a Brahma jnani. Whatever you think a dream will definitely come true. That's why we always say the words of great jnanis come true, and we people go and seek their blessings, because whatever they say comes true. Such is the power of jnanis. And later, Sanat Kumar continued his deep meditation, tapas and parabrahmam, and at that time, Parvati Parameshwara, they were going and then they visited his ashram. They heard about him and then they went to visit his ashram and they were waiting to get his attention. But Sanat Kumar was totally immersed in tapas. He never bothered to notice that. So Parameshwara, being the Almighty God, he was annoyed. And he called out and asked Sanat Kumar, how dare you ignore me and Parvati? We are waiting to see you and you are not even looking at us. What if I curse you for your indifference? And Sanat Kumar, he was not even moved. He was least scared. He challenged Shiva boldly. You can curse me. You are an angry Rudra. You can curse me. But your curse won't affect my Atma at all. Try it out if you want to. So Parameshwara, instead of getting angry, he felt very happy. Is somebody to challenge me? And he realized Sanat Kumar was a true jnani. So he said, I really appreciate your jnanam. You ask me any boon, I will give it to you. And Sanat Kumar, he replied very boldly, I don't need any boon. Oru varam vanda. But on the other hand, if you need any boon, let me know. I will give it to you. See how bold Sanat Kumar was to ask Parameshwara. Parameshwara said, okay, I am going to ask you a boon. The boon is, please become my son in your next birth. And Sanat Kumar said, so be it, because he promised that he will give him. But only put one condition, that he will not be born through Garbhavasa. It has to be some other way of being born as a son to Parameshwara. So, in the next birth, Sanat Kumar was born as Parvati Parameshwara's son in a very unique way. From Parameshwara's third eye, 6 sparks of fire flew out and lodged in a pond, what was called Sharavana Poihai. Sharavanam means it's a forest of reeds, all wild grass. Sharavanam. And there was a pond which was actually formed when Parvati could not bear the separation from Shiva out of his tapas, and she melted herself as a pond. And these sparks went and lodged inside the pond. And the 6 sparks became 6 babies that were united together as one body and having 6 heads, what became Arumugan, or 6 faces or Skanda. He is also called Sharavanan because he was born in the Sharavanam. Many people have the name Sharavanan or Murugan, who later on preached Pranava Upadesham to his father Parameshwara. Because Sanat Kumar was such a great Brahmajnani, being born as Saravanan, he had the Pranava Upadesham to his father. So that is the story, interesting story about Kumara. Of course, we all know about Ganesha. I don't want to tell you. He is the first one to be worshipped before starting any ritual. He is the leader of the Ganas, the army chieftain of Shiva. Hence, he is called Gananatha. So Ganesha is to be remembered as a remover of all obstacles and is invoked before all undertakings. Now, apart from the story, Bhaskaraya gives other interpretations, very interesting. Kumara Gananadamba, he is splitting into Ku, which means inferior, And Margana is an aggregate of Vikara ideas or passionate ideas. And Nathas means the lords of the above. So Ambal, she is the binder or destroyer of all inferior ideas. So that is the interpretation given by Bhaskar Raya. Kumara Ganananda was split into Ku, Margana and Nathas. And he's giving another interpretation. Kumara means Ahankara, egoism, whose deity is Kumara. And he's quoting Varaha Purana, which says Vishnu is a person or Shiva by that name. Avyakta is Uma or Lakshmi. Ahankara arises from the interaction of these two. This egoism is the Guha, Skanda, the leader of the army. And Ambal binds those who possess the qualities of egoism. So, that is the interpretation given by Bhaskar Raya. Now, let's go on to the other next 7 names, It is actually from 443 up to 449. Tushti, Pushti, Mati, Driti, Shanti, Swastipadi, Kanti. These are 7 names which reflect 7 different qualities of Ambal. Let us see what they mean, each one. Tushtihi means contentment. You all know, those who are familiar with Devi Mahatmyam in Markandeya Purana. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Tushtirupena Samstita Namastaste 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 Namo Namaha. You see, Tushtirupena, the goddess who resides as contentment in all beings. My worship to her. Namo Namaha. Namastaste 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 Namaha. That is quoted in Devi Mahatmyam, that Ambal is in the Rupam of contentment. Now, Vedas describe 3 kinds of doshas. Dosha Trayam, it's called. 3 kinds of defects that are natural to human beings. The first one is called Dukkha Mistri Tattvam. It is mixed with pain and pleasure, never pure joy. You will have joy, but also you have pain. So for example, you have a daughter, she is now graduated from college and she is going to get married. You're very happy, but when she gets married and goes away to her husband's home, you feel sad because you feel the separation. After all, I have brought her up and she is leaving. So there is joy and also pain. It's called Dukkha Misri Tattvam. The second Tattvam is very relevant here. It is called Atripti Karatvam, which means never having satisfaction. Always wanting more and more and more. More money, better car, better furniture, a new home. No tripti, no end to struggle. They perpetuate. Rich man wants to become richer. One is not satisfied with one car, let's have one more. A woman wants more jewelry. We all see it every day, isn't it? The companies also use this trade to sell more and more goods. Every day we see in the television advertisement for more goods because people are not satisfied. The third one is called Bantakaratvam, which is a quality which binds you. Habit, like for example, smoking, drinking, gambling, these are all traits, which bind a person. He cannot get out of it. So in these 3 doshas or defects, discontentment and consequent unhappiness is a common thread. Now, how can you overcome this dosha of atripti or dissatisfaction? Only by praying to Ambal, who counters atripti by being the goddess of contentment. She is Tushti. Only when one is contented, real happiness comes. Those who worship Ambal, they learn to become contented and they overcome this dosha of atripti. So that is the greatness of this name, Tushti. Let's go to the next name, Pushti. Pushti, everybody understands nourishment. When you see a well-nourished, plump baby, you feel very happy. It plays and it laughs and, it's so nice. In fact, Kanchi Periva says about Pulayar, Pulayar should be plumpy. You like always plumpy children. So Ambal provides nourishment to her devotees to be healthy. So Bhaskaraya adds one more. He says Pushti is a deity in Devadaruvana. It is actually a pine forest and a sacred place. I don't know where it is, but it is being quoted by Bhaskaraya. So that is Pushti. And we go to the third name called Mati. Mati is this. Malayalam also you see Mati, right? Mati means intelligence, knowledge, understanding, perception. And Bhaskaraya explains Mati is explained in the Vayu Purana as a Purusha bearing the measuring rod. And he understands division and thinks himself composed of different parts and is able to act, so he is known as Mati. Ambal is one who makes a person sharp, smart, sharpen his intellect and makes him what he call a Matiman, one who has got knowledge and intelligence. The fourth name is Dhriti. Dhriti is courage, fortitude. Now, Ambal provides courage as Dhairya Lakshmi. I'm going to share you a story which my guru used to often tell me, very favorite story of him, which was an inspiration to me too. He said there was a man who prayed Ambal very sincerely for a long time, and he got the blessings from Ambal in the form of Ashtalakshmis. So blessed him with health, wealth, children, everything that he wanted. So he was very happy. He had all the Ashtalakshmis blessing him and gave him everything he wanted. So after some time, the Dhanya Lakshmi came and said that now you got all the grains, food, everything. I'd like to go back. He said, okay, go back. Next came Santana Lakshmi. She said, you got blessed with good children now. I'd like to leave. And he said, okay, go. Slowly, one by one, each Lakshmi took leave of him and they went away. The last to come was Dhairya Lakshmi. She said, now everybody is gone. I also want to go. He said, no, nothing doing. You cannot leave me. She asked, why? Because if I let you go, I will be totally devastated. Without courage, what will I do? I knew I always want you to remain with me. You will not go anywhere. So Dhairya Lakshmi stayed, and seeing her, the other Lakshmis automatically came back to him, and he felt very happy. So my Guru used to say, one should never ever leave Dhairya Lakshmi or courage. By reciting Lalitha Sahasranamam, this particular name, Dhriti, you develop courage to face challenges in life. And one should never ever leave courage. So this is one name which is representing that. Bhaskaraya is adding one more, that this is a deity called Dhriti, which is worshipped in the Pindaraka place. Actually, it finds a mention as one of the Sakti Pitas in Devi Bhagavata Purana. Now, I believe it's a very sacred place. It is situated near Dwarka in Saurashtra, in India. So, there is a place, there is also a deity worshipped there. So, next name, which is the fifth name, becomes Shanti. Shanti, everybody knows, is peace. Devi confers peace on her devotees. Bhaskaraya, he quotes Saiva Agama. He says, that which gives place to a man who is struggling with the flood, impurity, illusion, and change, that kala which gives him makes them face it is called Shanti. That is the abode, which is the seat of dominion. You know, Tyagaraja Swami sings that song, Shanta Mule Ka Saukya Mule Tu Shanta Mule Ka Saukya Mule Tu. The Raga Sama. If there is no peace, there is no happiness. Where there is peace, there is happiness, but not the other way around. You may be happy, but not really peaceful. You know, you can buy the most expensive bed and be comfortable reclining on that one. But it still doesn't guarantee you peaceful sleep. You may be happy that I bought the most expensive bed, but there is no peace. So one may be happy with material comforts, but still not have the peace of mind, which it is true in case of many wealthy people. They have all the material comforts, but yet don't have Shanti in their mind. So in Sanatana Dharma, Shanti has got a very special significance. We say it 3 times, isn't it? Before and after many rituals. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. To remove all the obstacles. Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adi Atmika. The physical, divine, and internal causes. So we pray. So Ambal is in the form of Shanti. She gives you the peace. Swasti Mati is the next name. Ever true. Su means exceedingly. Asti is meaning what is having being, a supreme reality. Swasti also means immortality. This is a name, Swasti Mati, always true and always immortal. Then the next name is Kanti. Kanti means effulgent, which means having a divine luster, you know, something which is bright. Ambal in Nallayapar Shiva temple in Tirunelveli is called Kantimati. Many people, many girls in the neighborhood have their name as Kantimati. In fact, this name Kantimati is going to come later in Lalitha Sahasranamam. We'll explain more about it. So you have these 7 names which tell you the 7 qualities of Ambal. So that is the great thing about it, you see. Now, we have concluded 7 namas with described Ambal's qualities. Let's now start with other names having very special significance. The next name is Nandini. Now, there are different interpretations to this name Nandini. The first one which I am going to give you is, it means the daughter of Nanda. Who is Nanda? Nanda refers to Nanda Gopa. You know the story that Krishna was born in the prison, and Krishna's father Vasudeva carried the baby Krishna across the Yamuna river to the home of Nanda Gopa in Gokul, where a baby girl was born to Yashoda. So Vasudeva left Krishna there in Nanda Gopa's home and carried back the baby girl. And when Kamsa tried to kill this baby girl, she flew up as Mahamaya, and she warned Kamsa that the child born to kill you is elsewhere. So Ambal here was born as Mahamaya to Nanda Gopal. That's why she is called Nandini. So that is one interpretation. And the meaning, Sanskrit meaning is Nand is the root here. Nand means to rejoice, to delight, or like Anandam, you get Anandam is an extension of Nanda, means joy. So here Nanda Gopal means one who brings joy, and Nandini also means one who brings joy. And it's a female gender, a woman who brings joy. A daughter especially, whose name Nandini, brings joy to the family. And you have this famous Mahishasuramardini Stotram of Adi Shankara. The very first line mentioned about Nandini as the daughter of Himavan. Ayigiri Nandini Nandita Medini Vishva Vinodini Nandinute Girivaravinda Shirodini Vasini Vishnu Vilasini Jishnunute Bhagavati Heshiti Kanta Kudumbini Bhuri Kudumbini Bhuri Krite Jaya Jaya He Mahishasuramardini Ramyagapardini Shaila Sute. Here, Giri Nandini, it refers to the daughter of the mountain Himalayas, Himavan. Bhaskaraya gives one more interpretation. Nandini refers to the daughter of Kamadhenu. You know, the celestial cow which used to give whatever you want. Kamadhenu. So Nandini, being the daughter of Kamadhenu, she inherited her mother's qualities. And she used to give anything that people wanted. And Indra had gifted Nandini to Vasishtha Maharishi. Once the king Kaushika, who became later on Vishwamitra, he visited Vasishtha's ashram with his army. The army was hungry. So he prayed to the Rishi, can you provide food for all of us? So he said, no problem. He called Nandini and said, give food to all these people. And Nandini gave food to everybody. Now, Kaushika, the king, he was very impressed. He said, this cow should be with me. What is this Rishi going to do? He's only one man. I got so many people. So he asked Vasishtha, give it to me. So Vasishtha declined. He said, I can't give you. This is my property. And she will be in this ashram. She's giving me milk and other stuff. Then he applied force. He said, I am going to take this cow by force. But you know, Vasishtha was a Brahma Rishi and he applied his celestial powers, divine powers, and the cow refused to go, and then the king, he was not able to win Nandini. So later he became frustrated. He said, I'm going to give up all my possessions and luxury, and I'm going to become a Brahma Rishi like Vasishtha. I'll acquire all the powers. So he performed penance and then became Vishwamitra, and he led the life of a simple Rishi. So this is a story about Nandini, the cow. And there is one more story which I want to say about the celestial powers of Nandini. It is in the Bhragu Vamsha of Kalidasa. There was a king Dilipan who had no children. So he went and saw Vasishtha, he and his wife Sudakshina. They asked Vasishtha, we want to have children. How can you do this? He said, you serve this Nandini cow because you had some, in your previous birth, you hurt a cow. You can serve this Nandini and then you will be blessed. So they relinquished the kingdom and came to the ashram and they served Nandini and they were blessed to have a wonderful son whom was named Raghu. That's where Raghu Vamsam starts. Raghu was the ruler of the Ishwaku dynasty. His son was Aja, and Aja's son was King Dasaratha, who was the father of Lord Rama. So Rama is the part of Raghu Vamsha, the lineage. So that is how Nandini, the cow, blessed the great King Dilipan and who started the Raghu Vamsha. So like Nandini, Ambal fulfills the desires of all her devotees without any limit. You can ask for it and you will be blessed. So that is the meaning of Nandini. And now we come to the last name on this slokam of Vignanashini, which is a destroyer of all obstacles. I am not elaborating on this, but it is very simple. Okay, let's go to the next one. Tejovati Trinayana Dolakshi Kamarupini Malini Hamsini Mata Balayachalavasini. Tejovati, Devi is full of tejas, brightness, because she is the support of the sun and other luminaries. Bhaskaraya quotes the Brihadaranya Upanishad, which says, in this indestructible Brahman, the sun and moon were established. So Devi is a Tejovati because she is supporting sun and other bright objects of the planets. Three Nayana, very simple to understand, three eyes. What are those three eyes? The sun and the moon and Agni, the fire. Bhaskaraya gives different interpretations. We are not mentioning all of them, just a few of them. He says three Nayana is another name for the word Vaushat. You know, when you do Nasam, you touch the various parts of the body. You say Netraya Aushat. You know, you keep the three fingers here like this. The index finger touches the right eye, ring finger touches the left eye, finger touches the third eye. That is for igniting the power of divine vision, activating the third eye center. So, Bhaskaraya has three paths, south, north, and the path of Brahman, Naya, to lead. She leads those who are entitled to have one of the three paths. The Devi Purana says there are southern and northern worlds on the supreme abode of Brahman. And Devi leads those who follow the right way, so she is called Trinayana. Next one is Lolakshi Kamarupini. She is in the form of the desire of women. And Bhaskaraya comments, to show her love is not limited to Shiva alone. Ambal spreads it all across and hence is called Kamarupini. She is in the form of Yogeshwari, who is the deity of desire. He's quoting Varaha Purana, which says, desire, anger, greed, passion, bewilderment, envy, calumny, scorn, these are the 8 mothers. So we should recognize desire as Yogeshwari, anger as Maheshwari, greed as Vaishnavi, and so on. And these are all mentioned in the Varaha Purana. So Ambal is thus included as one who is desire and called Yogeshwari. Next is Malini. Malini, Mala is garland. Malini is one who wears garlands. Malini, Bhaskaraya says, is the name of a deity of 51 letters. He also gives another interpretation that Malini is a companion of Devi, which is mentioned in the Vamana Purana, which is on the section of Parvati's marriage ceremony. And Malini, as a companion of Devi, she held on to the foot of Hara, Shiva, and wouldn't leave it. So Hara said, whatever you ask, I will give you. Please release my foot. And Malini then replied to Shiva, O Shiva, bestow your prosperity on my friend Parvati, and then you will be released. Then Shiva said, okay, I have already granted that. Please release me and let go. So that is a story in Vamana Purana, which Bhaskaraya is quoting. And he's also saying that Malini is a certain meter, you know, the chandas like, or in the name of Ganga, or a woman of the florist caste. So that is another interpretation which is given Malini. Then he goes to the next one, Hamsini. Beautiful. Hamsa means swan, you know. It refers to swan. Now, swan is a water bird which is worshipped in Sanatana Dharma. Now, you see Hamsa is in the Sringeri tradition. You see the picture here on the right side. You'll also find the logo. If you open the website of SVBF North or Sringeri Matam, you'll find the circular logo with Hamsa Pakshi. What does it mean? Why is Hamsa so sacred? You know, the explanation is given by Jagat Guru Sankaracharya of Sringeri himself. It is in the Tattva Logo magazine of Sringeri Met. May 2016 issue. He says, Hamsa is a bird of elegance, its beauty and purity. And she is compared to a very saintly person who is not attached to any worldly desires, just as the Hamsa's feathers don't get wet in water. And it is also known that Hamsa Pakshi can separate water from milk. That's his greatness. The same way, a Paramahamsa Jnani separates the superimposed false Jagat from real Brahman and immerses himself in the real. Only Jnanis are capable of doing this, who can differentiate between a real rope and a superimposed snake. It is because of this ability that Hamsa symbolizes a Paramahamsa Jnani. All the Jagat Gurus adorning Sringeri Sharada Peetam have been great Brahma Jnanis. So traditionally, the Hamsa symbol is attributed to the Sringeri Peetam. The presiding deity of Sringeri Mata itself is Devi Sharada, who is Brahma Vidya Swarupani, the goddess of knowledge, Saraswati. She herself is seated on the swan. That's why she is referred to as Hamsa Vahini, one who has Hamsa as a vehicle. So the bird symbolizes Sattva Guna, and it is therefore adopted as the logo. As I said, it symbolizes Paramahamsa. Ramakrishna Mission too has Hamsa as a symbol. And if you notice, there are words underneath. Tanno Hamsa Prajotayat. May the Paramatman, the Supreme Self, symbolized by the swan, awaken our understanding. So Hamsini is one of the most revered names for Ambal. Let me also say that this magazine Tattvaloka is published by Sringeri Sarada Peetam, I think since 1978. What it means, Tattva is truth and Aloka is splendor. So Tattvaloka, Aloka, is the splendor of truth. You must read this magazine because it promotes Indian Vedic knowledge and wisdom. Next name is Mata. It's very common, everybody knows it, which is mother. In fact, the words mom, ma, amma, mother, everything came from Mata. English also you say mother, right? She is the mother of all mantras and she is called Matrika. Malayachala Vasini, residing in the Malaya mountain. In Kerala, you have got this Malaya mountain. That's why it's called Malayalam. Language there is Malayalam. And Malaya mountains are home to Bhagavati. Bhagavati is a very common name in Kerala. It is, therefore, Ambal is known as Malayachala Vasini. The other interpretation is Ambal resides in the Himalaya mountains, being the daughter of Himavan, and therefore you call her Malayachala Vasini. In Lalitha Sahasranamam, we see other names like Vindya Vasini, Uma, Shailendra, Tanaya, and so on. So that is concluding this slogam 95. Let's move on to 96. Sumukhi Nalini Subruho Shobana Suranayika Kalakanti Kantimadi Chobini Swarupini. Sumukhi. Su is always a prefix, in Sanskrit, which represents good. Suswagatam. Sumitra, good friend. Subhashini, good speaker. Suhasini, one who smiles nicely. Here, Sumukhi means one who has a beautiful face. So you'll find many more such words with Su as prefix. And as I say, face is the index of mind. When you have a nice mind, the face is also beautiful. By wisdom, the beauty of the face increases. The Shrutis say, one who knows this, his face shines. You can identify a Brahma with a sage whose face is shining. So Sumukhi is a bright face. Sumukhi is also a deity which is to be worshipped as a part of Shodasi mantra. Nalini, next name. Danini refers to lotus, which is always the revered flower in Dharma. I think we explained it before. I'm going to explain it later on also about lotus. Devi is like the lotus. She is in fact seated on Padmasana. Her hands, feet, face, eyes, everything is as gentle as the lotus. Subruhu, next word, again, su was prefix. It means beautiful eyebrows. Bruhu is the eyebrows. You see similarity between the word bruhu and English word bro? There is some kind of similarity, bruhu and bro. So it's a beautiful eyebrows, subruhu. Ambal has beautiful eyebrows. Shobana. Shobana is again beautiful Devi, handsome. Suranayaka. Sura refers to Devas. Nayaka means one who's a leader. She is a leader of the Devas. Kalakanti. Kala means black, and Kanta is neck. She is wife of Kalakanta. Who is Kalakanta? Shiva has got black throat because it was colored by poison. So, as wife of Kalakanta, she is called Kalakanti. According to Devi Purana, in fact, Bhaskara adds this, there are 68 sacred places. There is one place called Kalanjara, where there is a deity called Kalakanta. This is actually a place in Bundelkhand in Uttar Pradesh. The Shiva temple here is a Swayambhu Linga, one of the sacred lingas, and the presiding deity of this place, Kalanjara, is called as Neelakanta, Kalakanta. There is also a story in the Linga Purana that in order to kill the Daitya Daruka, Shiva created Kali as well as Kabartini and Kalakanti. So that is the story of Kalakanti. And next is Kantimati. I told you about Kanti, but this is Kantimati, which is referring to a person who is radiant. Kantimati is the radiant deity in Tirunelveli in South India, Tamil Nadu. There are 5 places where Lord Shiva is said to have danced. All these places are called Sabhas, assemblies or Ambalams. Shiva is also called Ambalavanan. These 5 places are, one is Chidambaram, which is called Ponnambalam or Kanaka Sabha. It's a golden hall. 2 is Madurai, called Velli Ambalam, which is silver hall. The 3rd one is called Ratana Sabai in Tiruvalangadu, which is a gem hall. The 4th one is Tirunelveli, is called Tamara Sabai, which is a copper hall. And lastly, the 5th one is called Chitra Sabai, which is at Kutralam, again in Tamil Nadu. Chitra means picture. Now, Tirunelveli is said to be the Tamare or copper Ambalam, and the Shiva there is called Nellayapar, and his consort is Kantimati. Now, this Kantimati is a very nice name. Muthuswami Dikshidhar has composed a very rare kriti in praise of Kantimati. Sri Kantimati Shankara Yuvati, Sri Kantimati Shankara Yuvati, Sri Guru Gajananim Vandedam, Sri Kantimati Shankara Yuvati. It's a beautiful, rare kriti in the Raga Hemavati. Praying before Goddess Kantimati. The young, Yuvati means young. Young what? Young bride of Sankara. And who is the mother? Jananim of Guru Guha. So this song is in praise of Kantimati. What is in the name? A lot, particularly in India. In India, we have the wonderful system of naming children after local deities or local villages or occupation. If you come across anyone with the name Kantimiti, you can almost be sure that she has her origins in Tirunelveli area. Like you have Shankaran or Shankaranarayanan or Gomati, these are all named from the Tirunelveli region. In Maharashtra, for example, many Marathi names have the suffix kar. This kar usually denotes the village the person belongs to. You know, the late singer, great singer, Lata Mangeshkar, very famous Mangeshkar, come from a village called Mangesh in Goa. Mangeshkar refers to someone who belongs to that. Gavaskar refers to someone with the origin Gavaswadi village in Kolhapur district. You have also names like Divekar, one who makes lamps, Deshmukh, who is head of a state, Kamble, who deals in blankets. In North India and Punjab, Sikh names are also inspired by virtues or qualities, like Harbhajan Singh, one who sings bhajans, Guru Charan Singh, one who is at the feet of the Guru, Devinder Singh, who is like Indra, Paramjit Singh, one who is supremely victorious. So you have many Sikh names also which are inspired by qualities. So we had each region very interesting system where a name meant something. Of course, this system is now changing to exotic short names, like Lulu, Chiku, Dolly, and so on, that really have no meaning, but they are only convenient to say. So that's the greatness of names in India, and Kantimati is one such name. Shobini is the next name, one who causes emotion or excitement. Bhaskar Raya says, by the agitation of our mind, Ambal created multitudes of deities. The Varaha Purana says that Vaishnavi, the voice of Vishnu, once went to Mandara mountain to perform tapas. And she became very excited. And from that excitement came a lot of women of fair appearance. And these millions of such women arose with different faces by the agitation of Ambar's mind. So Chobani is one who causes just emotional excitement. That's the interpretation given by Bhaskar Raya. Sukshma Rupini, the last name in this verse, Devi is subtle. Sukshma means very subtle. The Katobinat says, Anor Aniyan Mahato Mahiya Na Atmasya Jantor Nigato Guhayam. Ano is an atom. Aniyan, more subtle. Mahato Mahiya, greater than greatest. More minute than an atom. Subtler than the subtle. Greater than the great. Is the Atman. We have said this before, that Devi has three forms: physical, subtle, and supreme one. This refers to the subtle one. Let's go to the next one. Next verse is Vajreshwari Vamadevi Vayo Avastha Vivarjita Siddheshwari Siddha Vidya Siddha Mata Yasaswini. Vajreshwari, Vajra, is a Sanskrit word which is diamond or thunderbolt. It's a flash of lightning. It causes a thunderbolt carries high voltage electricity. It's so powerful it can break buildings and set them on fire. We have so many fires caused by lightning. That's why we have special lightning protection in buildings. But what it conveys is strength and indestructibility. Ambal herself is described as lightning. In Lalitha Sahasranamam, you have another verse, Tadillada samrajui sarchakropari samtita. Tadillada is, she is beautiful like a flash of lightning. So that is where it is Ambal's strength comes as Tadillada, Vajreshwari, being very strong. Bhaskar Raya gives other interpretations. He says Devi herself gave Indra the weapon called Vajra, Vajraitam, The Brahmanda Purana says when Indra performed penance in the water. When the water arose Devi and gave Indra the weapon called Vajra. So she is called Vajreshwari. So Vajreshwari is also a town very near Mumbai. It is, I visited it years back. It has a Vajreshwari temple, and there are many hot water springs there. They are called Surya Kund, Chandra Kund, Agni Kund, like three Nayana, each spring giving a different temperature of water. So Vajreshwari represents the strength, the absolute strength of Devi. Vamadevi. Vamadevi is the wife of Vamadeva. Again, Bhaskar Rava gives different meanings. Vamadeva is one of the 5 forms of Shiva, which is described in the Shiva Purana. Says Shiva of beautiful appearance. He is red as Kunkuma. The north face of the Lord is called Vama. It is called Vamadeva. It also has another meaning. Vama means by left side. No, Ardhanarishvara Swarupam, it's got half body Shiva, and the other half of Devi is in the left side, Vama Bhaga. And hence is called Vamadeva. Or Vamadeva is to Vama to be worshipped, and Deva is the deity. So he says, the Devas is indeed worshipped by all of us, hence is called Vamadeva. Vama also means fair. It means fair. Vama also means the fruits of actions, and Devi is the presiding deity. It also means Vamachara. We talked about it earlier, those who go to the left-hand path. So it has different differentiation as Vamadevi. Vayo Avastha Vijartita. Vayas. Vayas in Tamil also, you see in Marathi also, see Vayas means age. That Ambal is exempt from the different states of life. Age does not apply to her. She is always eternal. You can't call her young or old. She is always eternal. Siddheshwari is the queen of Siddhas. Who are Siddhas? Siddha means one who is accomplished. There is a Siddheshwari temple in Kashi, Varanasi. There's also a Siddheshwari temple in Dhaka, in East Pakistan, East Bengal, in Bangladesh. And there's one in Siddheshwari temple in Sholapur. Siddha Vidya is the next name, which is meaning the Panchadasi. Siddha Mata is mother of Siddhas. Yashaswini, famous. Yasho means fame, right? Not only Devi is famous, but she also grants fame to devotees. In Argla Stotram, we pray Devi, isn't it? How do you say? Mahishasura Nirnasi Bhakta Nam Sukate Namaha Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Dusho Jahi. Isn't it? Oh Devi, please give me beauty, grant me beauty, please grant me victory, Jayam Dehi, Yasho Dehi, please grant me fame and glory. Dusho Jahi, destroy my enemies. Right? So that is called Yashaswini. She gives you fame. Let's go to the next slogam, which is 98. Visuddhi Chakra Nilaya Rakta Varna Trilochana Katvangadi Prakarana Padanaisaka Samanvita. Visuddhi Chakra Nilaya. She is one who is residing in the Visuddhi Chakra. Now, one of the distinctive and unique features of Sanatana Dharma is that we see divine present in all existence, living as well as non-living. It believes in the divinity of each and every living being. Aham Brahmasmi, you say. Deho Devalayaha Proktaha Jivo Deva Sanatanaha. It means our body, Deho Devalayaha, our body is a temple. And life is inside as the Almighty, as Jivatma. Lalitha Sahasranamam describes the divine aspects of our body. You see on the right side the picture of various chakras. And Ambal is associated with all these chakras in the human body. What are chakras? They are points of energy which run along our spine. Now, each of the chakras is associated with the body part and its proper functioning. These are all energy centers. It's described in various Sanskrit literature, in Upanishads, in Puranas, and a lot of tantric works. So from this Nama, which is actually Nama 475, up to 534, 60 Namas are there. You will find the description about the chakras, the psychic centers. And each chakra or psychic center is presided over by a deity called Yogini. There are 7 such yoginis. You can see the 7 chakras, the human being, the bottom one being Muladhara, and then yes, Swadhisthana, Manipurabja, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agna, and Sahasrara. So Sahasrara is stopped. Sometimes it is not considered as a chakra. People say 6 chakras only, but for all purposes, we can say 7 chakras. Now, the order in which these names follow in the Lalitha Sahasranamam is not really from base chakra to the crown chakra or the other way about. Each chakra is considered to be specially connected with one of the 5 elements like earth, water, fire, ether, and mind. It actually begins here with Visuddhi chakra, which is connected with the throat. And then it goes to Ajna chakra and then ends up with Sahasrara. So each chakra is representing a particular alphabet of Sanskrit. You know, Sanskrit has 50 alphabets that include 16 vowels. For example, the throat chakra, Visuddhi chakra, has 16 lotus petals, which represent 16 vowels. There are totally 50 petals as one goes from the base Muladhara to Ajna chakra. The specific number of lotus is 4, 6, 10, 12, 16, and 2. And Sahasrara chakra, which is the top, has got 1,000 petals. We talked about it in one of the sessions. It is associated with the innermost triangle of Sri chakra, which is called the Bindu Mandala, or Ambal is called Bindu Mandala Vasini. So Divine Mother is known by different names connected with these chakras. We saw earlier a slokam which described Ambal as Sat Chakropari Samsita, she who resides in 6 chakras. This is excluding the Sahasrara. In one form, she has 1 face. In another form, she has 2 faces. And in one, she is red. And another one, she is in golden color. In one form, she likes payasam. And in another form, she likes ghee mixed with rice. Lalitha Sahasranamam describes all her forms in detail. It starts here with Visuddhi chakra. Now, what is Visuddhi chakra? If you see the meaning in Sanskrit, Vishuddha, it translates to Visha, which is impurity or poison, and Suddhi is purified. Chakra, of course, is a wheel. The wheel represents the flow of prana, or the life force through the body, from the root chakra to the crown chakra. It's a wheel. So it is a symbol of infinite cycle exchange of energy. The Vishuddhi chakra is a center of physical and spiritual purification. It removes the poison. Where is it located? In the vicinity of the larynx, the throat. It's also called the throat chakra. Now, the breath that flows through the throat is therefore this chakra plays a very big role in humans. I'm talking to you because of Vishuddhi chakra, because my throat is really able to talk. So it is able to talk because the Vishuddhi chakra is helping. It is associated with the element of ether, which is representing communication, authenticity. You know, the yoga technique of pranayama, it is exerting a very strong influence on Vishuddhi chakra. It improves a person's health and mind. So every chakra is said to have different number of lotus petals, and you will find more references later coming up, like Anahatabja Nilaya, Manipurabja Nilaya, and so on. So you have lotus as the main thing here, different number of lotus petals. Why lotus? Because lotus is a very sacred flower in Sanatana Dharma. You find Lakshmi standing on it, and the lotus appears from the navel of Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is called Padmanabha, and lotus is a symbol of purity. It is a national flower of India. It is a perfect analogy for human condition. Even when the roots are all in dirtiest waters, the lotus produces the most beautiful flower. And lotus leaf, as you know, is untouched by water. You put water, it is separate. It will not mix with it. And in fact, in Gita, there is a slokam about this, Brahmanya adaya karmani sangam tattva karotyah lipatena sapapena padmapatra vivambasa. This padmapatra, lotus leaf, you should be like lotus leaf, which does not mix with water. It is a flower which resembles or represents divinity, beauty, and prosperity. Ambal is described as Visatantu Taniyasi, right? She is fine and delicate as fiber of lotus. So Vishuddhi Chakra has a lotus of 16 petals, Shodasadala Padma, and Ambal has her abode in this 16 petal lotus. So she is called here Vishuddhi Chakra Nilaya. And in each of these 6 chakras, you have divinities like Dakini, Rakini, and so on. These Yogini Nyasa is there. There are 7 deities who represent the 7 chakras. The names begin with the syllables Da, Ra, La, Ka, Sa, Ha, Ya. They're Dakini, Rakini, Lakini, Kakini, Sakini, Hakini, and Yakini. These yoginas, they are the Adhisthana Devata or of each chakra. And the 7 yoginis also represent the basic dhatus in the body, like Dakini for skin, Rakini for blood, Lakini for muscles, Kakini for the fat, Sakini for the bones, Hakini for Majja, the bone marrow, and Yakini for the Shuklam of the human body. So each of the yoginis are surrounded Parivara Devatas, They have many attributes. They're supported. They are all having different forms, and they have individual and also collective powers. So the meditation is there on these different yoginis. And the mantras, they represent in the form of aksharas. What is akshara? Kshara is one which is decaying. Akshara means one which is not decaying. It is a word means which doesn't decay. And hidden in each of them is the energy of a particular deity, which remains latent when the mantra is pronounced accurately. That is why I always stress that Lalitha Sahasranamam should be pronounced correctly. And the deity of the mantra, she gets awakened only if the sounds create right frequencies. It should be pronounced accurately with the right intention, intonation, and aspiration. Then only you get the full effort. Okay, next we go to Raktavarna. Ambal is light red complexion. Trilochana, we talked about it earlier, 3-eye. She is a spouse of Shiva, so she is 3-eyed. Katvangadi Prakarana. Katvanga is a club, Katvanga, the word cut in English also is same. Cut means to cut. They are similar. Katvanga means Katva Anga, means a part of the body cut. Here, Katvanga is a club. It's a club with a human skull at the end, So Katvanga, armed with Katvanga. Devi is armed with Katvanga, the club. Vadanika Samanvita, having one face. Dakini Devi is just one face. So, going further to Slokam 99, Payasana Priya, Payasana Priya, Svaksta Pashuloka Bhayankari, Amrtadi Mahasakti Samprita Dakinishwari. Payasana Priya, she is very fond of payasam, sweet rice. Nutrition is important and everybody likes payasam now. Very sattvic food. In Kerala, the pal payasam is a very favorite dish. It's a famous Naivedyam at Sri Krishna temple in Ambalapura. The taste of this payasam, if you have tasted, is unbeatable. You must taste it. In North India, they call it as kheer, which came from kheer. Kheer is milk. In Sanskrit, it means milk. Kshira Sagara, you say that. So from kheer came kheer. Tvaksta. Tvaksta refers to the skin. Ambal is a deity of the organ of touch. She who lives in the sensibility of the skin. The body, as I said, is an abode of gods, and Tvaksta is referred to the skin. And the Atma Bodha by Adi Shankaracharya describes different aspects of a personality. First becomes the physical body, it's called Sthula Sariram, or the gross body. The human body is again a combination of 5 great elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. The earth element is bones and muscles. The water element is blood. The air element is breath. The fire element is the heat. And the space element is the emptiness within. So we are all formed of Panchabhutam, as they call it. The Panchabhutam, which is of 5 great elements, is also within you. Pashu Loka Bhayankari. What is meant by Pashu? Pashu, common understanding is animal, right? Animals are ignorant. They don't have the sixth sense at all. But here actually, it refers to humans who are ignorant like animals. Pashuloka Bhayankari means Ambal fills such ignorant people with fear. Bhaskaraya is adding, Pashus are those devoid of knowledge of Advaitam or non-duality. He is quoting Bharataranya Upanishad, which says, one who worships another deity, this deity is different, that deity is different, I am different. He knows not, he is like a Pashu, he is like an animal. And fear comes from this kind of duality. That once you imagine yourself to be divine, such duality does not come. But on the other hand, if you are ignorant, then you have fear caused Pashu Loka Bhayakari. Amurdadi Mahasakti Samrita. It's surrounded by Amrita and other Shaktis. Amritas and others are 16 great Shaktis, each seated on each of the 16 petals of the Vishuddhi Chakra. So Dakini, the Supreme Rule, is the center. Amrita to Akshara, other are the 16 petals. So that is why it's called Amritati Mahashakti Samrita, surrounded by Amrita and other Shaktis. Dakinishwari refers to the goddess of the south. It also refers to the very, very famous Dakshineshwari Kali temple, where Ramakrishna Paramhansa was attached. So, up to this name, the 9 names, which are from 475 to 483, are all attributes of Devi. Let's go to the next slide, which says, Anahatabja Nidaya Sama Badanadvaya Damshodvala Akshamala Dhira Rudira Samsita. Anahatabja Nidaya. And again, Anahatabja Nidaya, abiding in the Anahata lotus, in the heart. The 12-petal lotus, it's called Anahata Chakra. The yogini named Rakini, she resides there. So she is the Devi who is the deity for that particular chakra, and she has 2 faces. She is the 12-petal lotus. She is black colored and she has got protruding tusks, Damshodvala. tusks are black hair, black color. She has a trident, got a drum in her hands, and she's fond of very greasy food. She's worshipped by warriors. So many characteristics relating to the Rakini Devi. So Anahata Janlaya refers to her as abiding in the Anahata Lokas. Shama Ba. Shama is black. Ambal is called Kali because she is black. Vadana Dvaya, two-faced. Ambal's name is also Rakini. She's two-faced. You see the picture there. She has two heads to represent the duality between one's internal landscape and the external environment. Damstro Jwala. Damstro refers to tusks or long teeth. The elephant has beautiful tusks. The wild boar is also Varaham, is called long teeth. Ujva means shining. Devi is shining tusks. Akshamala Didira. Akshamala. This Akshamala is a string made up of beads, where each beads represent one letter of the 50 letters from A to Sha. A up to Sha. So it's called Akshamala. So there are 50 beads, and Ambal is wearing the Akshamala. In fact, there is a Upanishad called Akshamalika Upanishad, which is a part of Rig Veda. Rudira Samsita. Rudira means blood. She is residing the blood. Blood is an important element of body. And just as we saw Devi resides in skin, Devi is also in blood. Next slokam here. Kalaratra di Sakta Yoga Vrita Snikto Dhanapriya Kalaratriya di Shakchu Yoga Vrita Snikto Dhanapriya Mahavirendra Varada Rakinyamba Swarupini Kalaratriyadi Shakchogavrita. Ambal is attended by Shaktis, which includes Kalaratri and others. There is certain Shakti called Kalaratri. The Shakti of Rudra is born from darkness, who went to the blue mountain. That Raudri, that supreme Shakti, is called Kalaratri. Explanation given by Bhaskaraya. It's also Adi, Kalaratri Adi, it refers to all 12 Shaktis from Kalaratri to Tamkari, one each petal of Anahata. Snikto Dhana Priya. Snikto Dhana Priya means God is very fond of greasy food. Cooked rice with ghee. We give this food for growing children. Food with some fat content is like ghee is always nutritious. And desi ghee is known to be a good source of protein. So Snikto Dhana Priya, she is very fond of this. Mahavirendra Varada. Virendra Varada. Varada means boon. And Ambal grant boons to Mahavir means great warriors. V is many. Ira means excited, intoxicated. The meaning is Viras are those who are gifted with eloquence. In fact, in Tamil, they call them as Sol Veerargal, right? Indras mean those who know Brahman. Idam is one who realizes the self. I am he. The Shruti says he perceived and he is called Indra. Mahavirendra. So Mahavira is also referring to Prahlada. Bhaskaraya says he is referring to Prahlada and Indra, the Lord of the Devas. Devi Pura Bhagavad Purana says that Indra and Prahlada praised Devi after their fight. And she granted the boons, and therefore she is called Mahavirendra Varada. Rakinyamba Swarupini. She is assuming the form of the mother, Rakini. Rakinyamba is said to be residing in the lotus at 12. Okay, let's move on to the next verse. I think we are running out of time. Manipura Janalaya Vadana Traya Samyuta Vajradika Yudopeta Damar Jadvira Vrita. Manipura Janalaya. Again, one who abides in the Manipura lotus. Manipura is a 10-petal lotus in the navel region. Now here the yogini is called Lakini. You see the picture here, Lakini. Lakini has got 3 heads. She's on 8-petal lotus, 3-faced, red colored, and she has a weapon, and she's attended by other Shaktis, and she's fond of sweetmeats and doing good to all. That is a meditation for Manipurabdinilaya. Vadanatraya Samyuta. Vajanatraya Samyuta means 3-faced. Vajradika Yudhayopayata, armed with Vajraidam, which we mentioned earlier, and other weapons. Damar Yati Viravrita. Damari is Shakti. She is attended by Damari and other, which includes 10 Shaktis from Damari to Pattarni. Raktavarna, next slokam, 103. Raktavarna mam tanishta gudana pritamanasa samasta bhakta sugada lakinyamba swarupini. Raktavarna means blood colored. Mamsa nishta means presiding over flesh. Now this is the Mamsa nishta is a 500th nama, which ends the 6th kala called Ruchi in the Saubhagya Bhaskara, composed by the great Bhaskar Raya. In his commentary, Saubhagya Bhaskaram, this is the 500 nama. And he has divided the whole Saubhagya Bhaskaram into 12 kalas. This is 6 kalas, so it's be right at the center. Next one is Gudana Pritamanasa. Very easy to understand. Good means jaggery. She is very fond of jaggery sweets. Samasta Bhakta Sukada. Sukada is happiness. She confers happiness on all devotees. Lakinyamba Swarupini, assuming the form of the mother. Lakini. Going further, I think it is probably the last slide we have. Swadishtanam Bhujagada Chatur Bhaktra Manohara Suladayuta Sampanna Pitavanna Digarpita. Swadishtanam Bhujagada, presiding in these Swadhisthana lotus. The yogini here is called Kakini. You see the picture here. She is residing on 6-petal lotus. Now she's got 4 faces, and she has the trident, the noose, the skull, and other weapons. And she is fond of food mixed with curd, the Dyona Priya. And she is called Kakini. Next is Chaturvaktra Manohara. She is 4-faced and fascinating. Shula Dayuta Sampanna. Shula means trident, armed with trident and other weapons. Pita Varna, yellow colored. Ati Garpita, very proud. Ati Garpita. Next one is 105. Vedo Nishta Madhuprita Bhaktinyati Samanvita Dadya Nasakta Hridaya Kakini Rupadarini. Vedo Nishta is presiding over fat. Madhuprita is fond of Madhu, honey, mead. The Shruti says one who presents an offering with honey pleases the great Devi. Bandinyadi Samanvita. She is attended by Bandini and other deities. 6 deities there from Bandini to Lamboshti. Dadya Nasakta Hridaya. I told you, she is very fond of dahi bath, food with rice mixed with curd. Very staple food in many South Indian homes in the past. I'm not sure now, but maybe in some homes they still have this dahi bath. Kakini Rupadarini, assuming the form of Kakini. So with that, we have completed now 105 verses and 513 namas. Today, we were able to cover 12 verses and 71 namas. So with that, we are now coming to the end of session 9. Our next session 10 will be on Sunday, March 20th. So I'm going to conclude this session with prayers as usual. सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम पराशक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम पराशक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम पराशक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम पराशक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम ओम स्वस्ति प्रजा परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिंसा गोब्राह्मणे सुमस्तु नित्यं लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के शक्ति गणपति शारदांबिके शंकराचार्यर के शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदांबिके के काल भैरव के काली दुर्गै के वीर धीर शूर हनुम मारुति चरणतिके मल्लिकार्जुन के सेल्व जनार्दन के अंबा भवानी कंबद गणपति चंडी चामुंडी के श्री कृष्ण भगवान के श्री चक्रवासिनी के सीताराम लक्ष्मण सहित मारुति चरणतिके विद्यारण्यर के विद्याशंकर के वागीश्वरी के वज्रदेग गरुड़ आंजनेयर के श्रीवल्ली देव सेना समेत सुब्रमण्यर के तुंगभद्रै के श्रृंगनिवासिनी के श्रृंगेरी पुरिயில் நிலைத்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகை के सच्चिदानंद शिव अभिनव नृसिंह भारती के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु सार्वभौमर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विद्यातीर्थर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु भारती तीर्थर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विदुशेखर भारती के मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के शक्ति गणपति शारदांबिके शंकराचार्यर के शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदांबिके के श्रृंगेरी पुरिயில் நிறைந்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகை के
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you again. Until we meet next month. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Om Shri Matre Namaha.